Hi, my name is Marie Dumont, and I am the founder of the Mid-Florida Bigfoot Research Group, and you're listening to the Bigfoot Club podcast.
Hey guys, please go to our website at www.bigfootclubpodcast.com. Check out our merch and all episodes. Also, please look for our social media at Twitter, Facebook, Instagram at Bigfoot Club 1. That's Bigfoot Club number 1. Also, check out Matt Knapp's Bigfoot Crossroads on YouTube. Hey everybody, Bigfoot Club Season 5, Episode 2. This is Steven, and I'm here with...
Uncle Robert.
Uncle Robert.
Well, Robert.
He forced me to do that intro.
No, I did not.
I had to really think.
I did not.
You forced me, man. He said, look, just because you're over here and I'm over here now, you got to do the intro.
Yeah.
Because you want me over here, you got to do the intro.
It's not like you're about to fight or something.
I got to be ready, man.
I guess.
I'm over here fighting for my life.
How's your week?
Week's been all right. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
You getting ready for a big weekend?
Yep.
What's this weekend?
So tomorrow the boys have their violin recital. They're gonna be performing their solo with their box violin, but it's all about the motion.
Mm-hmm.
Like they're doing it right.
This is Suzuki strings?
Suzuki strings, yep.
Wow.
And Sunday is their big 6-year birthday party.
No, it's not really their birthday this weekend.
It's not. No, it's just their birthday party. Their actual birth date is March 1st.
Right.
Wednesday. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So we want to do it on a weekend.
Yes. Yes, we do.
Okay.
We definitely do. But yeah, other than that, no. And I went back to streaming on Twitch, and
yeah, you sure did this week.
Yeah, and I'm trying to hurry up and get through God of War. Because there's just so many games coming out. I'm like, okay, I love God of War, but there's so many other games I want to.
It's a big game, man.
It's massive. Massive.
Is it bigger than like Oblivion and all that?
No, I wouldn't say that. It's just a lot of side quests, and that's. I don't think the map is bigger than Oblivion. I could be wrong though, but
yeah,
it's a lot though.
Well,
it's a lot. How about you?
Oh, it's been good.
You've had a really busy week too, as well.
Yeah, I have, but I can't really say why.
Yeah,
I can't really say on the air because other people could be listening, and I don't want them to.
But things are happening though, right?
Yeah, things are moving, shaking, rolling, looking for the one called easy.
But when you're trying to better yourself and trying to do stuff, it's never easy.
Yeah, it's not, but it's been a good week. Grandma's getting better. My mom's getting better. She's, she's actually can take a shower by herself now, and she can get up and move, and she's got a lot stronger. So she's going through a lot of physical therapy and occupational therapy, kind of like what I was doing. But she's 84, so she's moving and grooving and
yeah,
ducking and jiving.
Yeah,
who says that?
You do, apparently.
Okay. We're gonna probably get Matt on. See what he's got going on. So let's give Matt a call.
Yeah, let's. Yeah, I'll try telling him that we're ready.
Okay, I'm calling him now. It's a little loud. I'll put it down a bit. Hey, man.
Hey, man.
What's going on?
What's up, dog?
You're actually on the air now, so.
On the air.
You're on the air with Steven and Uncle Robert.
Uncle Steven and Aunt Robert.
Yeah.
It's funny that you say that because I say that to the boys all the time. Like I always switch out like uncles and aunts, and they always correct me all the time. Hey,
that's funny whenever because you don't think that they're paying attention.
Yeah,
because they're just like looking around, trying to find their like next present or something. I don't know, or gift. And they're all like, "Hey, so did you hang out with Aunt Carrie?" Yeah. Wait, what?
Yeah, they're quick on that.
Yeah.
So
kids are always paying attention.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially except for them whenever you want them to pay attention.
Yeah. I don't know about that. It's like selective wanting to pay attention.
Matt, how the heck are you doing, brother?
I'm good. How are you?
Good. We just wanted to get you on this second episode of Bigfoot Club.
The second episode, man.
So
that means we survived the pilot.
Yeah, we did.
Mm-hmm.
So how's things going with Bigfoot Crossroads?
They are going fantastic, Bob.
Now, I noticed that you didn't take a break at all, did you? You didn't.
I did not.
He never takes breaks.
I take forced breaks whenever I don't want to.
Yeah.
Yeah. Whenever you can't get people to answer your calls, right? Or your
People ghost me. They want to come on, and then they don't answer the call, or sometimes I get busy and just fall behind a little. But I try to stay pretty on schedule. Just released a show this morning, as a matter of fact.
Did you? Who did you end up talking to? If you don't mind
I
me
talked
asking.
to a guy named Tyler Howell from Florida who had a sighting as a young teenager while deer hunting in southern Alabama. And then years and years later, he actually captured video of a possible Bigfoot.
Wow.
With his cell phone.
Yeah.
You know, it's not going to prove anything, but I mean, it's pretty far out there. It's kind of blobby and everything. But actually, Doug Highcheck took a look at it.
Wow.
And is firmly a believer that it is, in fact, a Sasquatch. And from Tyler's description of the behavior, I have to kind of agree. He said, you hear a lot of reports of Bigfoot crossing power line cut-throughs, like where they'll clear out an area for the big, huge electric lines going across country. Mm-hmm. And he was out in a wilderness area. I think it's a hunting area. And he was killing time basically before he picked up his kid from school, middle of the afternoon. It's a bright sunny day and everything, and he saw this large dark colored figure close to 600 yards out there, and it was walking on two legs. So he got his phone out and started videoing it as well as he could with a phone. Whenever you try to zoom in with them, it gets pretty blurry. But whatever the thing was, he observed it actually getting down like on the ground and like digging around on the ground like it was looking for something. And then it got back up and walked across the clearing there. And whenever it got to the other tree line, it stepped inside the tree line, but it had like a couple of saplings. It was like standing between two small trees and like holding onto the trees with its hands. And it was like rocking side to side, and he could see like the trees moving with it as it moved, and freaked him out pretty good. He wasn't able to get out there. Like I said, he had to pick up his son, but I think he went back the next day or shortly thereafter, and he found a bunch of possible track impressions in the area and stuff. So pretty interesting story, combined with the one that he had whenever he was younger. And now he is a Bigfoot investigator and doing it all the time.
Is he associated with a certain group or?
Not really. He does go out with a few people. Stacy Brown Jr., for instance.
Mm-hmm. I know Stacy.
Yeah, he's done some paranormal stuff with him, and Connor Flynn and Matt Williamson, who I've both had on the show before, and just the typical. Florida bunch or whatever.
Does he know what's her name, Marie Dumont?
He does. Wow. I believe she was part of an investigation that he was at. I don't know if it was a Bigfoot investigation or a paranormal investigation. They kind of do everything out there,
Yeah, she kind of does a little bit of both, and I think she whenever we talked, she said that she runs into paranormal stuff whenever she's doing Bigfoot stuff, so she kind of enjoys that. But that's an interesting story. Normally I do listen to your podcast, and I haven't listened to that one, but that's an interesting story. The one, because I was kind of, I know whenever I hear it, I'll probably get this answer. But so this thing didn't notice him while he was taking pictures of it.
I don't think it did. I'm not sure if it saw him after it got back in the tree line and was watching him whenever it was rocking side to side.
Yeah.
Because
But like in the video, it acts like it doesn't even care that he's there.
Yeah. Because like
and that was kind of one of the things that I brought up to him. So to be perfectly honest, I've interviewed him twice. The first time there were some technical difficulties and the recording just didn't work out. Mm-hmm. And I asked him if he'd come back on and he agreed. And so I recorded with him again. So there was some stuff that I talked about the first time that I didn't talk about the second time and vice versa. But, yeah, I mentioned, if that was a person, I'm just picturing myself, I'm out in the wilderness going on a hike or whatever I'm doing. And I come through this clearing or whatever out of the tree line, and I see somebody that I don't know, a car parked way down yonder, and they get out of their car and start, holding their phone up like they're taking video of me. I'm going to wave at them or look at them or something. I'm going to acknowledge that they're there, but this thing just didn't really seem to care that he was there at all. It's kind of strange.
Steven was kind of getting at, what were you going to say, Steven? About the rocking?
When they do the rocking, isn't that like a threat or like a...
It's I mean, if we base it off known primate behavior, a lot of apes and larger primates will do that whenever they get nervous or agitated.
Yeah.
So whatever he was looking for, he couldn't find it. He was probably agitated of that.
Yeah, and we were kind of speculating, what it might have been looking for. I mean, first off, if it was a person, I mean, this isn't it's a clear cut area. They cut down the trees to put these power lines through there, but it's still grown up and brushy and everything. It's not real easy terrain to navigate or whatever. Mm-hmm. So had it been a person, why were they down on their hands and knees digging around? And he said he went out there and he couldn't find anything, and there wasn't any any edible vegetation or berries or anything like that he could see. I speculated that, maybe it was going after a field mouse or some bugs or something. Who knows? Maybe it dropped its contact lens, possibly. I don't know. And maybe that's why it didn't see him standing there taking video.
Did he say it was an older one, a younger one?
He couldn't tell. It was way too far. But the analysis that Doug Hycheck did, Doug believes, and it appears this way on the video, that whatever it is, it's all one uniform color. There's no breakup of a shirt and pants or anything like that. Mm-hmm. So yeah, I don't know. Matt Moneymaker actually is the one that told him to start a YouTube channel and post the video. So this video has gotten him quite a bit of attention from some pretty big names in the Bigfoot world.
That's pretty. I mean, to get Matt Moneymaker and Doug Hycheck, to comment on your stuff, that's pretty big, man.
And I believe he has Doug Hycheck's analysis on his YouTube channel, actually.
Wow,
people can check it out.
That's impressive.
Yeah, Tyler Howell Outdoors on YouTube, if anybody wants to go look at it.
Okay. There was I wish I apologize for not knowing the episode, but there was an episode that I wanted to ask you about on your show. It was a lady, maybe it was an episode ago or maybe a couple episodes ago, and she was talking about, I haven't talked to you about this, Steven, but about a Bigfoot encounter in which she came across as a Bigfoot in a creek bed. Correct me if I'm wrong, Matt, but it was injured. And and it was when she came across this another a parent Bigfoot showed up and scooped him up. And I was talking to you off show about this, and this was probably the very first time I have ever heard a story of a Bigfoot being injured.
Yeah.
Is this the first time you've ever heard that?
Yeah. I mean, so there's stories, but the stories are really, really old ones,
Mm-hmm.
things of a tribe of Native Americans finding an injured Bigfoot in the Pacific Northwest and, helping it recover or whatever. But they've become more of folklore type stories. Not saying that they're not true, just that they're very old and No one can verify them or anything like that. It's just, I was told this story, but this is the first time I've ever personally talked to, for sure, a witness that says that they found an injured Bigfoot.
So this Bigfoot was like, did it have a compound fracture or?
She says it looked like it had possibly a broken leg. What had happened was she was out camping with her family, her and her husband at the time, and I believe even to this day, she's kind of one of those people that lives off the grid a little bit. Mm-hmm. Not completely off the grid, but, doesn't want to have much to do with civilization, we'll say. And they were camping. I don't know if they did this all the time, like this is where they lived, or if it was a special trip or whatever, but she said they had like a little travel trailer or whatever that they were staying in. And her husband had gone into town to pick up some supplies and left her there with the kids. And she was really young. She had 2 small toddlers. She was 19 at the time, I think. And now she's an older woman, I would say in her late 50s, early 60s, possibly. But yeah, she had just put the kids down for a nap. Her husband leaves, and she hears what at first she thought might be like a coyote or something vocalizing. It was kind of strange. She hadn't really heard this before. And there was a nearby creek that the sound was coming from, and she kind of like wandered off down there, trying to see what this noise was. And whenever she got into the opening of the creek, she saw this creature. She didn't have any idea what it was. She said it was covered in hair, but it was laying on this big boulder next to the water. And she said it wasn't small. Like at first, whenever she told the story, I thought it was like a juvenile or something, but she said, which it probably was, but she said it was at least as big as her. So it wasn't like an infant or anything. But there was blood around it, and she said that it was laying in kind of a contorted position where it kind of looked like its leg was broken or something. Clearly in distress. And she's like walking towards it this whole time. And she said she got about 25 or 30 feet away, I think. And something right behind her just let out this hellacious scream that just rattled her. And she instantly dropped down to the ground, startled, thinking that she was getting ready to die. She doesn't know what's behind her. And she kind of looks back over her shoulder as this other much larger one jumps over her, scoops up the injured one under its arm, and takes off and is gone in the tree line within 3 steps, she said.
Wow.
And she ran back to the trailer and got inside the trailer, locked the doors and everything, waited for her husband to get back, told him what had happened. They go down to the creek. There's the rock with all the blood on it and everything. She said that he had a pocket knife on him, and he took out the pocket knife and scraped up some of the stuff, and I think they put it in like a Ziploc bag or something. Mm. And she took it to the state police, I think, or local sheriff or whatever. Took it to the police and turned it in and told them what had happened.
Yeah, that's gone.
Yeah. And so her husband was he had some sort of job with the forest department at the time and was gone all the time. So it was like about a week later, he was gone on, for work. And so she went alone back to the police station or whatever to check up on the incident. Now, keep in mind, this was whenever she was 19.
Yeah. She's
now most likely in her 60s. So this was a long time ago.
Yeah.
There was no internet or anything like that. So she, goes in there and she's there to check up, on the samples that she brought in of the blood and, did they investigate and all this stuff. And they're like, who are you? We don't have any records of that. They just tell her that she's never been there before. They don't know her. They have no idea what she's talking about.
So this was probably like in the early 70s, right? Late 60s?
Probably 70s? So, yeah. I didn't ask, to be honest. But yeah, it would probably have been 70s.
Now, this is the Bigfoot Club of me, coming out. Didn't she say that she saw a scrotum on this?
She did.
Did she say that she saw?
She did.
When it jumped over her, did it hit her?
She was teabagged by Sasquatch. That was the original title of the episode, Teabagged by Sasquatch, and I decided to go a little bit different with it.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
But I mean, honestly, though, see, so yeah, she said that, and it's funny. But from an investigative standpoint, to me, that kind of lends credence to the story.
It does. I mean, who else would think about that?
Yeah.
What I want to know is how does that Bigfoot get injured?
Yeah, I don't know.
The blood, like,
I don't know.
Did it get? What am I thinking of? I feel like grandma. Bear trap.
Yeah.
Bear trap. Did it?
I mean, back then, that's a very big possibility. These days, you're not going to find a bear trap. If you do, it's poachers. You know, I'm not sure about the legalities of it, but then, you know, you can't have bear traps.
What
And,
state?
like,
what state was this in?
I can't say.
Okay.
Oh.
That was her one stipulation of coming on the show. She did not necessarily want to come on the show. She was kind of found randomly in a larger Bigfoot group on Facebook. Somebody had inquired about people, you know, who's had a sighting or whatever. And she had said something to the effect of that she had a sighting when she was 19 or whatever. But she didn't go into details or anything.
Right.
And then eventually a friend of mine contacted her, spoke to her privately. She told more of her story. She was asked if she would be willing to come on a podcast and share it. She agreed to talk to me, but she wanted to know, like, what my intentions were with having her on, like, what was I going to do with the story, you know, and she was like, eventually she agreed to come on, but she was like, the only thing is I don't want any location information given because I don't want people coming after these things.
It was like it was like a long time ago. I don't think they're going to be able to find it, but that's just me.
Well, she says that
that's
that she had an encounter later on, and she believes that these things are just out there. One of the really interesting things about her story was after it happened, she went to her dad and told him what had happened, and he just looked right at her and he's like, "Well, that was a Sasquatch."
That's awesome.
And I asked her, I was like, well, that's kind of weird that your dad would just go straight to Bigfoot, you know?
Yeah, because
it's almost like he had an encounter or something. She goes, he did.
Oh, okay. Wow.
So he was an old-time prospector, you know? Yeah, I'll say this. It's in the Pacific Northwest.
Okay.
But he was an old-time prospector, and he had a couple encounters, I guess. Including one where he was actually diving in a river looking for gold and had like the air hose ran to the air compressor and everything, you know, supplying him with oxygen while he's diving. And something grabbed a hold of the hose and started dragging him in. And whenever he got to the surface, whatever it was let go of the hose and went off crashing through the woods. He didn't get a great look at it or anything, but he said the force that it was pulling him up to the surface terrified him, and whenever it took off running and let go, he went back underwater and stayed down there for like 10 minutes or so before he came back up and gathered up his stuff and got out of there.
That's terrifying.
I mean, he's gonna have to come. He's gonna have to come out eventually. Yeah, but
I know that's why I was like 10 minutes. Well, he had the.
Did he have like the old time gear with like the metal head and?
Yeah, I assume so.
Wow,
I don't know.
That's even scarier.
Navy diver.
Yeah, that's.
Yeah.
Who wants to be a Navy diver?
So you want to be a Navy diver, boy?
Sounds like Navy diving to me.
Oh, Lord. I totally forgot about that.
Oh, yeah, I know. I was waiting for the right moment, and that was it.
Steven's doing Pedro Pascal.
Oh, that's the Saturday Night Live. Sounds like Spanish to me.
Okay.
Put a pen in it.
Let's put a pen in that.
So
no, but seriously, in all seriously, that's
a terrifying story.
That is both of them.
I know, but you rarely get a person number one, see a injured Bigfoot, and have like support of your parents. Very rarely do you even have that. So that was amazing.
Can she describe the screams of it? Like, obviously the parent scream or the parent Bigfoot behind her was probably terrifying. But like, from what I gathered, you said that she just heard something. But like, was it like? Did she know it was like a cry, like a terrible cry, like a scream, or?
I asked her. She said it was like an angry scream. Like if you take one more step, you're a goner.
Yeah.
So
from the Bigfoot that was hurt.
No.
The Bigfoot that was coming.
For the one that was hurt, she described it as kind of like it sounded at first, like I said, she thought it was like a coyote yelping or something. She could tell that it was an animal in distress, but it wasn't like any other animal she had ever heard before. She had never heard, at first the noise got her attention and she was like, is that like a coyote? What is that?
That is.
And that's what got her to go down there.
Wow.
That is.
And
terrifying.
later on in life, she told me that she actually took care of like some lions and stuff. Like she's had like wolves and lions and all kinds of crazy exotic alpha predators that she's like raised and taken care of. So she's like used to like all these big, predators and everything.
This was after the event? After that?
Yeah, like years later.
So it sounded like to me that I'm sorry. No, it sounds like to me that she has that nurture vibe about her. So if she heard that distress call, she wanted to go check it out immediately and maybe go help it. And so I wonder if apparently this parent Bigfoot was angry that she was walking toward it, but I wonder if it knew that she didn't pose no threat to it eventually.
Yeah, I think so, because it screamed and jumped over. It had the drop on her.
Yeah, I mean, it could easily.
Wow.
Besides the
and like I wondered after the fact. So she's like a young mother. They're out there camping. She's got these two toddlers, and we've heard about this time and time again. Possibly this was a younger Bigfoot who wanted to get a look at those toddlers, or maybe even wanted to play with them. Who knows?
Yeah.
And was like coming up by camp and checking them out and everything. And maybe whenever it was crossing the creek or something, it slipped and broke its leg or something, hurt itself somehow. I don't know. Maybe not. Maybe that's, ridiculous, but I'm just trying to paint a picture here. And that's what they were doing there.
I'm so confused with the blood. Like,
yeah.
Did it
if you have a compound fracture, you're going to bleed.
Yeah, that's true. I
mean, because like, just for example, Albert Osmond's story, whenever he was being kidnapped, he described like these juvenile Bigfoots doing like amazing things, like bouncing on their on their butts, just bouncing and just hopping all the time. So I don't know if this was a juvenile, but it could have been wanted to play and maybe slipped on, like Matt said, slipped on a rock and broke its leg or something. So I don't know. It's just. When I heard that story, I go, man, I think I called you like that same night. I heard it.
Yeah.
And I called you and we talked and I said, man, I have never heard of a story, firsthand of someone talking about,
an injured Bigfoot.
An injured Bigfoot. So
yeah, it was pretty crazy. And she definitely came across as, she was one of those people that like, even if you don't know him, it's like, she is not making this up.
Yeah.
She's not trying to get publicity. She don't care. She cares about Bigfoot and, them being okay and protected and everything in that sense.
Mm-hmm.
But I'm saying she was dropping F-bombs, she was a hard old lady. You know what I mean?
Man, she must have thought
one of those types.
Man, she must have thought she was on Bigfoot Club or something.
Yeah.
So
that's
scary.
That is scary. Like, I hope that Bigfoot is okay.
Yeah.
Obviously, that was a long time ago, but when it comes to that, because I think I asked, I forgot who I asked. It was one of our guests of how it had to have been either Marie Dumont or I can't remember, but I asked on, like, since it was Florida, I go, there's like swamp, everything's dirty, you know, if a Bigfoot gets a scratch or like stuff like that, like, do they know?
It was Marie Dumont.
Yeah, there you go. Like, do they know what to do? Like, in this case right here, it's a broken leg, like, and if it's bleeding everywhere, like, obviously that's like serious, like, surgery. You know, when you think of something like that, oh, they're gonna have to go to the surgery. But what do they do in that situations where, if it's like that, like, is the juvenile Bigfoot beyond saving? Does he even walk again? Like, that's the stuff that goes like on my mind. Like, you know, it's just like,
there's no Bigfoot ER.
Yeah.
No, it's a really good question. You know, like what happens whenever the older ones get too old to take care of themselves?
Exactly. It's one of those things, because it's got to be the same thing. It's got to be.
I just think the rest of the group takes care of them.
I would assume so.
Picks up the slack. It's either that or they kill them and eat them. I mean, take your pick.
Yeah, because they don't want it would slow down if there is a group, it would slow down the group. It would make it a huge liability, and it just makes you think, like, oh man, like, you have lions. Like, if they can't eat, they'll eat their cubs, you know?
Right.
Yeah.
So, what? Yeah.
But you guys have been watching The Last of Us, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Did you see that little segue I did just then?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, in that, you know, recent episode, what did the brother do whenever his little brother needed help, you know?
Yeah.
You do what you got to do. So maybe in that scenario, you know, that was a dad Bigfoot and taking its kid away from the group and doing what it had to do. Another interesting thing is that it was by the creek, and whenever animals get injured, I know this from like hunting stuff, they'll head towards water. They'll head towards fresh water. And I don't know if it's like a thirst thing or what happens, but injured animals will go towards water. So I wondered if, you know, since it was hurt, it had gone towards the water, and that's why she found it by the creek or whatever. An actual very famous Bigfoot event, the siege at Honubby, that you might have heard of.
I have.
So that story's been told a lot. It's been featured on documentaries and in books and everything else. But I talked to one of the guys that was actually there at the time. I used to talk to him all the time. It was his brother that actually shot the Bigfoot. And he told me the details of the event that they didn't include in the public story that they told. Mm-hmm. So take it for what you will. But according to him, so his brother shot this Bigfoot. They had been harassed for a long time at their house. It was getting to be a dangerous situation. There was actually, I think his brother's wife and daughter had been grocery shopping and came home. Now, keep in mind, this is out in mountains in Oklahoma. We do have mountains, out in the middle of nowhere. And they came home with the groceries, and before they could get out of the vehicle, this Bigfoot comes out from around behind the house and is basically standing there looking menacing between the car and the house. And they were terrified. They didn't want to get out of the car. Mm-hmm. And it eventually went away or whatever, and they were able to get out of the car and everything. But that's the level that it had progressed to the Bigfoot coming up close and not caring that, you know, it was being seen or whatever. Lots of stuff happened. It would come up and look in the windows at them while they were like eating dinner. The daughter and another child were in the home and were getting really frightened. So there was a lot of things that escalated to the point of them actually shooting at the Bigfoot. So the brother was there. He shot the Bigfoot. It went down in kind of a ravine behind the house, and he could hear it breathing heavily, trying to catch its breath and everything. It was injured. It wasn't going anywhere, but he couldn't get eyes on it. Eventually, more Bigfoot came, and there was a lot of rock and stick throwing at the guy and his brother, keeping them back away from the injured one. And according to the brother, they observed these Bigfoot running around and like snatching like moss off of trees and stuff. And he said, for lack of better explanation, it looked like they were gathering up items, and that they made like, they took these items and smashed them together and were like smashing it on the wound, like dressing the wound. And then they picked up the Bigfoot and started carrying it across the road and up the mountain.
Medicinal purposes, right?
Yeah.
Wow.
And as the Bigfoot were crossing the road, a logging truck was coming down the road and actually stopped and saw the Bigfoot, like in the headlights of the truck, and went down the road to a turnaround and hauled ass out of there. And he said that him and his brother stood out in the road trying to flag the trucker down, and he just blew past him, wasn't going to stop.
Yeah, I would too. So,
so apparently, his whole thing was there was like another witness. You know, they've tried to find who that truck driver was, but they never were able to get that information or anything. They wanted them as a corroborating witness or whatever.
Right.
But he said, yeah, it looked like they were like gathering up medicinal plants and herbs or whatever and dressing the wound.
That's interesting.
So they know.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, who knows? You know,
They do.
they do.
They do.
do you know whether, I mean, for you know, just for the listeners' purposes, do you know whether these Bigfoot returned afterwards to seek revenge or anything like that?
I don't know, because the brother moved out of that house after that.
Because it sounded like to Matt. Sorry. So it sounded like to me that it sounded like they had just moved in, and that's why this Bigfoot was coming by and checking them out, because there was probably nobody there before, right?
I don't know how long his brother lived there previous to this stuff happening.
Mm-hmm.
Basically, the whole thing started was his brother had a deep freeze that he kept outside. And they would keep, you know, extra food, and, you know, they were hunters, so they'd have like deer meat in this freezer and stuff. And something was taking food out of the freezer. And so they put a padlock on the freezer. And the Bigfoot got pissed off about it.
The Bigfoot would have probably broken that, though.
Yeah. Wow. That's interesting.
Sounds like a weak Bigfoot to me.
You're an idiot.
He said that there was, you know, I want to say, I could be wrong about this. I don't remember if it was like an old car or an old metal building, or there was something metal on the property back behind the house. And that something, and they assumed that it was the Bigfoot, actually took a rock or something and scratched an X on the metal.
Wow.
Like on the side, big and visible, where they could see it from the house.
X going to get you.
X going to give it to you.
He's going to give it to you.
Oh man, that's creepy, dude. I mean,
Yeah.
it's like they know.
I don't know. We don't know, but yeah, they know.
Yeah, that's great. That's a great story.
Well,
man.
you know, hopefully that Bigfoot learned its lesson.
Yeah, hopefully he's okay.
I mean, obviously, I hope he's okay, but it sounded like he was like really trying to, you know,
Get some meats.
get some meats, and it's not Arby's, man. It's not Arby's. You know, they had.
Well,
the
this
meats.
particular incident, like I said, a lot of things built up to it. But that night, his brother was home alone, and he was inside the house watching TV, and they would come up and slap the back of the house.
See, that right there would just.
And it was like all this stuff had happened and had been happening and everything. And one came up and was slapping the side of the house, and he just got pissed off, and he's like, enough's enough. And he had an SKS rifle. He went outside and while he was like on the front porch or something, and he could hear it still running up and like smacking the house and running back down into the ravine. And whenever it ran back down in the ravine, he walked over. There's some big tree kind of on the side of the house, and he got behind that tree. And he just waited there. And whenever he heard it run up, it smacked the house again. And as soon as it smacked, he stepped out from behind that tree and just started firing. And like unloaded his clip at it.
You know, whenever I was doing stuff with Kenny over in Kimmichi, he had a cabin. And we would get that in the middle of the night sometimes. Something walking up and slapping a cabin.
Slapping the bass.
You're going to do that. You jerk.
Matt's not amused.
Slapping the bass.
Slapping the bass.
Sounds like slapping the bass to Matt.
Oh, Lord. Because Andrew's going to get mad at us.
Probably. So, what the fuck are they doing? Stupid. Whatever it is stupid, and it stops right now.
I know. Turn that stupid shit off. Sorry, Matt. Sorry.
But yeah, no, that is. See, yeah, I mean, that Bigfoot was just a lot of things was building up to it, and like, just like an animal, and any other animal.
I mean, there's some great stories. I mean, there's.
But
stories
the injured Bigfoot was like the best one. I've
Yeah.
never heard of that.
Yeah.
Never. Always wondered. I go, man, has there ever been a Bigfoot that ever broke its arm, broke its finger? What does it do?
Yeah.
What does it do?
Where's it go?
Where does it go? Like, you know, is it called cryptids, 911? Or
They
what?
go in a portal and they go to some place where
Yeah.
I don't know, but that's interesting. I've always been interested in stuff like that, and because like you always get the story about them crossing the road,
Yeah.
or them picking stuff, just by chance, just seeing them in the woods and just that's it. But when you hear stories like this, man, there's stories like that behavior and them actually acting on stuff. That's always to me. Behavior always like intrigues me the most. I don't know why, but it just does.
And not coming from someone who says that they like mind speak with them every day.
Yes.
You know, it's just some lady. I saw this whenever I was a kid. This is what happened. That's it. Take it or leave it.
Yeah, she's not trying to get famous. She's not.
Yeah.
Those are always the good ones.
Yeah.
That's when you know you're like, yeah, they saw something. And that's yeah.
Steven, I know you wanted to talk about some other stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Are you ready to talk about that, or?
Yeah, I kind of wanted to, include Matt in this too, obviously, and I'm glad you were like, yeah, Matt's gonna go. I was like, oh, sweet. I wonder what he thinks about it.
Yeah,
Matt, what do you think about what's been going on with these UFO sightings recently?
and there's balloons and
There's
drones, whatever.
Drones, balloons, and then there's trains being derailed, and
You're not going to like my answers.
but I still want to know your thoughts on it.
So there's this thing called the internet.
Internet to man.
And, I mean, this internet thing.
Mm-hmm.
If you saw your neighbor walk outside and get their newspaper and walk back in the house, and you took video of it and put it on the internet, there would be a conspiracy theory created around that video within 24 hours.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So the balloon stuff. First, you have the China spy balloon.
Yeah.
They shoot it down. Then, along with all that, it wasn't real long ago that they released a big government paper on the UFO phenomenon, and they're studying it and all that stuff. UFOs are a thing now, especially the internet is the UFO internet community is on swole right now. There's tons of people in it. It's very active. Then the government comes out and says, hey, we shot down some other stuff. We don't know what it was. One was cylindrical shaped, one was hexagonal or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to retrieve them. People just ran with it. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
What actually happened, if you actually read the statements by people from the government that were releasing comments and things pertaining to the things, they said from day one, these are balloons. We just don't know where they came from. We don't know who owns them. So what happened was whenever China had their spy balloon get noticed by civilians and they were over nuclear military bases and stuff, NORAD, which is like our radar defense system, was recalibrated because a few months ago, our radar system for our defense in North America was not calibrated to pick up balloons and things that small. They were only calibrated to pick up like military aircraft and things like that. So they saw, okay, China's sending these spy balloons over. We need to recalibrate our radar system so we can see them. So they did that. And whenever they did that, they saw that, oh, there's other things up in the air. There's other balloons out there. So they shot them down to be safe. But now, you know, they can't find them or whatever, but they went ahead and released the information that like, yeah, they weren't really connected to China or anything. They're most likely just like stuff from private companies or whatever. Just anybody can go buy a weather balloon and send it up into the air for whatever reason. There's lots of places, universities and everything else that send weather balloons up all the time. Sometimes they get lost. Sometimes they don't come back. I saw a post just this past week where a weather balloon crashed in somebody's backyard. And like they had photographs of it and everything. And like they turned it into the police or whatever. So like these things happen. It's just our radar systems have never been calibrated to see them before. And it's never been a concern to like publicly make statements about for the government. Now they're doing that. They've never once said these are UFOs or these are extraterrestrial in nature or anything like that. But the internet, being the internet, couldn't wait around to find out the details. They just read the headlines and just started, oh, it's UFOs, it's UFOs.
Wow.
Interesting. So what about the ones that, like, there were videos of, like, you know, lights in the sky and all that stuff? Like, they weren't necessarily, like, you couldn't tell if they were balloons. You really couldn't.
Yeah.
But there was, like, a lot of UFO sightings where there was, like, there's, like, a line that would just, it would, like, a ball of light would just shoot out, and it would be, like, a line of, like, ball of lights. I think there were some in Vegas, if I'm not mistaken. But
I mean, the problem is with UFO hysteria happening now because of the government coming out and saying, yes, these things do exist on our airspace. It's going to be just nothing but fuel for hoaxers. So now you can't really trust anything that you see on the internet.
Right.
I know people that have hoaxed UFOs and gotten on the news with it by doing nothing more than sending up Chinese lanterns.
Wow.
That's all they did. They floated some lanterns up in the air, got on the news. Flares get shot off. Flares get taken up on drones and shot off. Fireworks on drones, all kinds of stuff on drones. You can put any sort of lighting system that you want to on some drones. And guess what? At nighttime, you get several drones up in the air doing different light displays and then just shut them off. It looks like the thing's disappeared. I mean, there's lots of ways to hoax UFOs. However, I've seen a UFO in my life. I know that there's stuff up there that we don't know what it is. The government has come out and said that there's stuff up there that we don't know what it is, and it does things that our technology can't do. So
that's a scary part.
Yeah. So, you know, it's just that whole issue. Just like I know Bigfoot exists. I know Bigfoot's out there, but I also know that people on the internet want to get famous and make fake Bigfoot videos all the time. Same way with UFOs now. The problem is, whenever it comes to UFO stuff, the, shall we say, independent special effects artists really like making UFO videos and just posting them on the internet just as a joke. But they're really good at it. I posted a thing not too long ago where some visual effects artists had made a UFO video and a Bigfoot video that looked very convincing. And they eventually like a couple weeks after they went viral with those videos, made another video saying, yeah, it was just us. This is how we did it. I saw a guy that had made a very famous UFO video, got millions of views, and then he made another video showing how he had made it entirely on his computer. And the most amazing thing about this footage was the UFO footage was actually shot from the inside of a car going down the road through a windshield, and you can see the car's dashboard and everything. And he actually had constructed everything in the video on his computer, including the car's dashboard. None of it was real. And it all looked very convincing.
So you know a lot of people that make visual effects like that.
I know a few, yeah.
You know a few. That's interesting.
Matt.
Are you okay?
Yeah.
Jeez, Robert, you getting all choked up on us?
I know. Sorry.
You're so moved by your story.
What is your friends in Calling All Beans say about this? That sounds weird now.
Your friends in the Calling All Beans say.
Freaking Don Vito over here.
I don't talk to them about the balloons.
Okay. I was just wondering.
I have been sent a video that is supposed to be authentic. Mm-hmm. It was publicly released, so it's not like a secret or anything. But according to the powers that be or whatever, this is a legit UFO video. And I mean, it's pretty amazing. I don't know. The problem is, could it be created by people? Yes, it could, in my opinion. It could have been done with a drone and some lighting. But then you have people who are in the know, and by in the know, I mean people who worked for the United States government on UFO stuff who said, yeah, this one's real. So I don't know.
You know, we don't get to talk about a lot of UFO stuff on this show. I mean, I think
I just know that I always knew that it would be really, really hard to hoax, but I didn't think of the simple things like using a drone with lights, using a drone with fireworks, stuff like that. Like people will go out of their way just to get views, I guess, or just to get it noticed,
or for it just to go viral.
Just to go viral, yeah. So the whole like Bigfoot, I can understand people can easily get a ghillie suit or a Bigfoot suit and go out there and make some tracks, blah blah blah, But to go out of their way to do like some UFO thing, that takes a lot of. I don't know.
But a lot of them don't have to go out of their way,
right?
I mean, let's say it's not the 4th of July, let's say it's the 2nd of October. And some kids got some leftover fireworks. I used to do this all the time. I was shooting off fireworks year round. And they go out, they're in the middle of nowhere or whatever, or they're out on a boat on a lake or something, and they're just shooting off fireworks. And they go high enough over the horizon that somebody on a highway 5 miles away can just see them for an instant.
The light,
and against the complete dark backdrop, they don't see that they're actually coming out from over a hill and going back down behind the hill. So they just see these colored lights flashing on and off, and they're all in a pattern. I mean, that's a UFO. You don't know what it is. You saw it.
Right.
It's in the air. So I think a lot of people see things that they don't recognize, and they just instantly go to UFO when there actually is an explanation for it. And I think that a lot of people see things that are actually UFOs, and we don't know where they come from.
Did they associate these sightings with those train derailments too?
Yeah, that's what they were like saying. Like,
yeah, it's a false flag thing, a distraction.
Yeah, that too.
Let me tell you about the train derailment. What I do know about it. I don't know anybody from Ohio personally to talk to about it from the area or anything. Mm-hmm. But I can tell you this much. If they hadn't ignited the chemicals, there would be hundreds of thousands of people dead right now.
Right.
Wow. They
picked the lesser of two evils. They did what they had to do to save as many lives as possible. Mm-hmm. It was a tragic event for sure, but I don't think there's any sort of media blackout or anything. I think it just boils down to a real simple fact that nobody's allowed in the area unless they're part of the cleanup crew right now.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. I mean, I don't like to get political on this show at all, but those are swing states, right? Both of them?
Yeah.
So it's just kind of weird.
Oh, it's always weird.
It's always weird to...
I mean, how will the certain political factions handle it? What narratives will get spun? But I don't think it was done on purpose. I just think that I think politicians take advantage of certain situations. I can't go as far as to say that they necessarily create tragedies on such a large scale. I mean, it was like 9/11, which, I don't want to get political at all.
I was about to bring that up.
But obviously people still to this day, well, I saw where, engineers said that, okay, well, I know people that freaking died there. Mm-hmm. Straight up. Are dead. And they weren't involved in any sort of government cover-up. They're really dead. They weren't paid off to go into hiding or anything like that. All that crap started with the Oklahoma City bombing, too.
Yeah.
And, that hit as close to home as possible. And there's all kinds of conspiracy theories around that. Well, guess what? I know people that died there, too. It's just ridiculous. It's easy to go to a conspiracy theory, but then whenever you start really picking at it, it just doesn't add up. That's been my opinion on most conspiracies, at least. Yeah. And maybe I'm just a dumb sheep, maybe I'm just a simple person that doesn't have the mental capacity to figure it out. But in my opinion, it all starts to unravel whenever you start getting into questioning the details.
Mm-hmm. But I think it's cool to talk about, though. That's just me.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
So
the world needs more people like that, like you, Matt, that thinks that way, because everyone's saying, "Oh, look at this," but you're all like, "Why are you telling me to look at it?"
I prefer to worry about stuff whenever I have a reason to worry about it.
Right.
So don't tell me just to worry about something because this could be the situation. Show me that it is the situation. Mm-hmm. And nobody can do that.
Yeah, I think all this stuff is like misdirection,
Oh yeah, I've read that too.
You fake one way and don't look over here. So I don't know.
Like, well, what are they?
But do you really need misdirection?
Yeah, you really
can't you just like for instance, the easiest way to tell a lie is just not to say anything at all.
Yeah.
So they don't really need misdirection whenever they can just not talk about something.
I don't know. It's media, man. It's just, I don't trust it most of the time. So this is me. So,
well, I was part of the media at one point, and I saw firsthand what they do. I mean, it was my job to spin titles.
Yeah.
Because people don't read the articles, they read the title. So you spin the title and you support that title with your first paragraph. And then you put your filler content. And then at the bottom, you tell the truth that you're required to. Mm-hmm. You're not always required to, though. And I watched huge media outlets not lie, but just misrepresent the truth on a daily basis. And it was my job to pick the right ones that supported what my outlet wanted to support and to attack the ones that didn't.
Yeah.
And I did that for multiple years.
But you don't do it anymore, though, right?
No, of course not. Of course not.
That's interesting.
Very
interesting. Sounds interesting.
The man.
Oh, man, I'm sorry.
I know he's probably hating us right now.
Jesus.
Because you guys.
Freaking Pedro Pascal.
I like we were like in sync on that one.
Yeah.
Literally.
Yeah.
Okay.
Man of the woods, you know?
Yeah.
Rock your body.
Yeah.
So Matt, I appreciate you.
No.
No, what?
Well, what? Oh, I put myself out there. What do you think about all that stuff?
Oh, well, I was going to say I appreciate your input. on that.
Okay.
Yeah, I was going to say I appreciate your input.
Okay.
Now, one thing like that, when it comes to stuff like that, and then the government saying, "Oh yeah, there's UFOs, they're real now," that always like shook me in a way. I was like, well, I was like, well, fuck, are you serious? They did so well keeping it like, oh no, that wasn't a thing. Like they made it like a game, you know, with people who believed and people who wanted to know and find out the truth. They just kept, and then they just kind of just gave up, you know, because I guess they knew, either they knew or they just said it. I don't know why they said it.
Steven.
See?
Yeah. Here's where you got to think, but that's the scary part.
Yeah.
That's the most terrifying thing out of all of it.
Yes.
The why.
The why. Exactly.
Why now?
Why now? Is it because technology is getting a little bit more advanced
Man,
and people all
let
these
me tell you.
videos?
I just thought it was like a misdirection.
But a misdirection to what?
I know they just didn't want us to focus on certain, like Matt was saying, certain titles.
But
so
UFOs, that's their misdirection that they go with?
Yeah. Like, okay.
So here's the thing. If you go back and look at the news, the years leading up to this, and I believe it starts with Obama's presidency, we shifted our outer space focus entirely to Mars. Like out of nowhere. Like, we're going to put people on Mars. Let's start investigating Mars. Let's send some drones up to Mars. Let's see what's going on with Mars. Forget the moon. Forget all that stuff. Mars. I mean, Elon Musk was going to, put cities on Mars, all this stuff. Everybody's going to Mars. Out of nowhere. It just seemed like all of a sudden, like, that's the thing. Then we get to Trump's presidency. Yeah, we're going to launch a division of military in space called Space Force. We're going to put the military in outer space. Why? Why haven't you done that before? I mean, what's wrong with NASA? What's wrong with the Air Force? What? So you have these little things like first the Mars thing, then Space Force. Actually, at some point in there, funding got stripped away from NASA. NASA, I believe, was a independent private organization, and the government wanted to take their own direction and not have to answer to NASA. NASA's still around, obviously, but they lost a huge amount of funding. Then you got Elon Musk and these other individuals that are now privately going into outer space. And now, oh yeah, by the way, UFOs are real. That's a thing. Yeah, we denied it up until now. We're not going to tell you what we know, but we're going to acknowledge that they're real. So it could be a situation where it serves multiple purposes. But I'm just terrified that all of this is building towards something for a reason. Like, I think they told us now for a reason. Now, did they use it to their advantage? Like I was talking about earlier, they'll use things to their advantage. And like Robert's saying, possibly. I mean, there were other things going on politically at the time that they didn't want people paying attention to. But still, they could have said something else. They could have gone a different direction. So why UFOs and why now? What do they know? What's going to happen? When is contact happening? Another conversation that I had with my UFO friends, I asked one of them who's works as a civilian for the Air Force, used to be part of the Air Force. I said, do you guys have any idea Like, have they recognized any strategic maneuvers or purpose behind what we're seeing in the skies? Because, like, we use military tactics from hundreds and hundreds of years ago, invented by generals and geniuses long before we got here, and we still use them to this day. Mm-hmm. So I know that the military can recognize these tactics and these patterns. So I was asking him, are the UFOs showing any sort of pattern that the military recognizes? Do they know what their purpose is? And he said, as far as everybody can tell, it seems to be observation, like they're coming in to observe. And I said, that's weird.
That's the giveaway.
Because if they can travel from other places, either interdimensionally or space travel, because we don't really know. They could just be portal hopping. Who knows?
Yeah.
But if they have the ability to do that, we have to assume that their technology is way more advanced than ours, or it's entirely different than our technology. But if they have that ability, compared to where our technology is and what we have the capabilities of doing, we launch these billion-dollar satellites into space, these giant telescopes, and look miles and miles and miles and miles away. From a military standpoint, you get out your binoculars, you get out your telescope, you fly over in an airplane and you observe from a distance. These things should be able to sit 100 light years away from Earth and watch what we're doing. Why are they so close? Why are they inside our atmosphere? Surely they have the capabilities of observing us from a safe distance without revealing what they're doing. So why are they so close? And he goes, you know what? I've never heard anybody mention that before.
That is...
I mean, this seems like more of advanced observations. Like, we've been observing you. You're not a threat to us, so now we're going to come in close because it doesn't matter. It seems like to be this close, they would have some other purpose other than we're just checking you guys out. So what is that other purpose?
That's pretty deep, Matt.
Maybe they want to. Maybe it's an experiment to them to see how well we notice it.
And that's the giveaway.
Maybe it's just like, whenever you're a kid, you'd roll up outside the fences at the drive-in and tune in your radio and watch the movie. Maybe they're just trying to watch The Last of Us and can't get a good picture from where they're at.
Or watch signs.
Imagine if they did that, though, and like we're watching our television and our movies and stuff and thinking that was actual reality of what's going on here.
Yeah.
Like, wait, there's a virus?
I swear there was dinosaurs running around this place just a second ago.
You mean the historical documents?
Yes, the historical documents.
The historical documents.
Well, guys, we're actually coming up on, we just went over an hour. So
1 minute,
is
40 seconds.
A minute and 40 seconds?
No, I had to break it up in two. When Ricardo started coughing, it was like over 35 seconds, and now it's over 37 seconds now. So,
Well, I apologize for hijacking your show.
No, that's fine. No. I mean,
no apologies.
It was pretty deep, and we thoroughly enjoyed it.
Yes.
I apologize to you for. I apologize about Matt.
We're just trying to get Matt to do that once.
And
he has not.
I've never seen it. I don't do it.
Just copy us.
Yeah, Matt.
I can't copy you copying something else. I'll butcher it.
That's what Matt's. If I did a impression of you doing an impression of him, he's like, you can't do an impression of Robert doing an impression of me.
He said that before, too.
Yeah, that's what
you can't do that.
Oh, Lord.
Oh, man. Matt, you have any shout-outs before we call it a night?
Yeah, I do.
Go, shoot. Yeah.
Who deserves a shout-out is the question.
Logie?
No.
Well, if you're not going to do a shout out, Matt, then how do people find Bigfoot Crossroads?
Well, they can go to the Bigfoot podcast, BigfootClubPodcast.com, I believe. That's the website.
Yeah.
Can I shout out Big Dog?
Yeah.
I don't believe. I mean, like, we've commented back and forth before. But I know he does like fabrication and stuff for car audio stuff, like tipping on faux and all that. Man,
Ooh.
I see what he's doing, man. That's badass. I used to like my first love in the world was car audio stuff. That was like my first job. And I'd go hang out in a car stereo shop and learn as much as I could about it, and then started working for them whenever I was just a young teenage boy. And it's cool to see that kind of stuff again, see that people are still doing it.
Man, he does other stuff too. He does like weapons too. He does
Weapons?
And
Yeah.
weapons.
Space weapons?
Yeah. Yeah, he can like alter.
No, he's a badass, man.
Yeah, Big Dog, he is. I love him. You should have him on
Yeah.
your show. You should have him on your show. He's got a couple stories.
He's got to hit me up.
Okay, I will let him know.
Or maybe I got to hit him up.
Big Dog.
I got to get a Yowie person on, man.
Yeah, just tell me who, and I'll hook you up.
You tell me who.
I would start off with Yowie Dan,
Yowie Dan, then Gary Lamb.
Gary Lynn, Jason
Sounds
Momoa.
like Gary Lamb
Let
to
the
mine.
man.
Oh, Jesus. The side just made it better.
We should do it as a ringtone.
Yeah. I want
my
to so bad.
Oh Lord, we're so Bigfoot Club, aren't we? We
so
are Bigfoot
clubbing.
Club.
We're so clubbing in the Bigfoot.
Yeah.
I forgot I got to do that one thing.
What thing?
That thing.
The thing?
Yeah.
The thing.
Yeah,
John
I
Carpenter.
forgot. I
The
need
what?
to write it down.
Yeah, do that thing, man.
Yeah. John Carpenter, man,
Steven, do you have any shout-outs?
yeah. Shout out to you for getting me this Sentry toy.
Oh yeah, I did buy that.
Sentry toy.
Yeah, he got me a Sentry toy.
A Marvel Legends Sentry?
Yes.
Man.
I saw it and I just said, you know what, Steve, I gotta
So,
get this for Steven.
okay, I have to, because this boggles my mind. Where was this at?
It was at Walgreens.
Walgreens.
Yeah, Walgreens is a spot, man.
Don't
Sleep on Walgreens, man.
I don't now, especially now. But no, I was just thinking, like, when you go to, I've been to Walgreens, I've been to CVS, and I've always seen Marvel characters. I've seen like Spider-Man, Black Panther, Captain America. I have never seen a Sentry unless I went to a comic book store. The Sentry toy.
Yeah, because there's people like me. See, I'm a former toy hunter. And Walgreens was one of the secret spots. Mm-hmm. Because they get the same cases as everybody else. So the rare figures and the chase figures get put on the shelves, and most people don't go to those places looking for toys. So sometimes you get lucky, and they've just put a case out, and you get something cool like Sentry.
Yeah.
You know what I found there too? Jason McLean's Metroplex Monsters was there too.
What?
Yeah.
At Walgreens?
At Walgreens, yeah.
What kind of Walgreens is this?
I know. We need to go to this one. Matt, come over here. And
It was in Grand Prairie, Matt.
S-Mart.
Sounds like Grandpa to mine.
I found an orange card sand trooper at Walgreens.
Wow.
And that was a big deal back in the day whenever I was looking for it.
That's totally awesome.
Mr. Bob Reynolds.
Bob Reynolds.
Man. Sentry. I can't wait to at least somewhat introduce him. And
Did you see Steven Yeun's going to join the Marvel Universe?
Yeah, I saw.
I wonder who he's going to play.
They had him listed as a Sentry, didn't they, Matt?
Yeah.
What?
Really? That's what they're put. I mean, I don't know if that's official or anything, but like people are like posting pictures of him and Sentry in the background, so we'll see.
Yeah.
I still think it should be Edge.
Edge? Yeah, he's kind of old though.
I don't think Edge has the acting chops for that though.
Who else? Who else could play it? Henry Cavill?
Oh man, I would love that. No.
That'd be kind of cool if he did, though.
That would be kind of cool. I don't know, man. That's a tough one. I have to really look into that because I've never really thought. I go, man, what would be like other than Edge? I'd be like, man, Edge would be perfect.
Yeah, but
that was like 10.
Ethan
years.
Hawke.
Oh, you really want to piss Robert off, dude? No. You really wanted to piss Robert off?
I wouldn't even watch it then. So, man,
was he? Yeah, he was. What's his face from Moon Knight?
Yeah,
Mr. Step on Glass Sandals.
Yeah.
Just thought that was a weird opening. I was like, what the heck? What's going on here?
Yeah. Well, Matt, thanks for coming on, man. I really, really appreciate it.
Well, Bob, thanks for having me.
So you made it on to the second episode.
The second, not the first one.
Second.
The second episode.
Not salty at all. Just saying.
Yeah. Did you happen to catch our last episode, season review, and who we
where you
voted?
discussed your favorite guest from the previous season?
Yeah.
Mr. Matthew Reginald Nappers.
Bartholomew Nappers.
Indubitably.
I just thought you'd like that.
I had a feeling.
It was a safe bet.
I was hooked on that feeling, and I was high on believing. So,
well, Steven, again, do you have any shout-outs? Yes.
Shout out to
Any time of the day, man.
I'll get back to you on that.
Okay.
Do you have any? You didn't even. Did you shout out?
I didn't shout anybody out. Just Grandma. Grandma's doing better. I'm really happy with that. And
Awesome.
yeah, I'm pretty happy with that. We just went over 11,000 followers on Facebook and getting close to 10,000 likes. So I'm pretty happy with that. And oh man, I just can't say enough good things. So everybody that listens to the show, thank you. Mm-hmm. Please go to our social media and our YouTube and give us, a follow, subscribe, 5-star review. It really helps us out. Go to our website, BigfootClubPodcast.com. Check out our merch, our bios, old episodes, and we would really appreciate that out. So, what did I say? Appreciate that out.
We really appreciate that out.
Who says
Smash that like button and hit subscribe. And don't forget to click the bell so you can be up to date on the latest episodes.
Oh, my goodness. That's really good. Boom, boom, boom. Oh, man.
Booby dooby doo.
All right.
That was great, man.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.
Good night, Matt.
Good night.